And I want to ask you, what's different about today's generation compared to the previous generations, which is a good and different thing about this young generation?
I think this generation is more informed. I think they're more aware of what's happening in the world. I think they have an opportunity to not be in a bubble where their ideas are only reinforced by people of similar thinking. I know that social media algorithms want to keep you inside an echo chamber and only expose you to content that will reinforce your pre-existing ideas. That's how the algorithms are designed. But I think young people are breaking free out of that too, and they're challenging their own ideas. They're learning more about the world around them, and they're asking more existential kinds of questions, bigger questions. And I think that's really exciting, because when young people do that, that's the first stage of an entire society's reinventing themselves and rethinking their entire cultural story, right? So I think it's a really exciting time.
So the change is happening.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
I do think so.
One life lesson that you learned the hard way.
Your best friends are probably going to be the people before your success.
Can you explain that a bit?
So if you reach success in any field, then of course you make new friends, right? And they can be wonderful friends. But there are some friends you have before all of that happened.
Yeah.
Right? And those friends, you know them at their core, and they know you at your core, and there's no reason for them to be your friend other than
the success
just you.
that you are.
They're not attached to your success, they're attached to you.
Okay.
Right? So you can have friendly acquaintances, partnerships, all those kinds of things can be there. But your closest friends, they're almost disconnected from your work and your fame and all of that.
They know the real you as a person.
Yeah. And that carries over. I think that's, because you get, it's easy to think that everybody's at the same level of friendship, and then you're equally safe with everybody. You're not. You have to really know who you are ultimately safe with. Like, even if you think of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he spent the most time with Abu Bakr Siddiq, it seems. And Abu Bakr Siddiq speaks the least about his experience with the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Right? The fewest hadith come from Abu Bakr Siddiq, which is baffling, because he's the person who spent the most time with hours and hours and hours, entire days, entire nights, entire journeys, right? Like, even if he documented or recalled one day he spent with the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, it would probably be 300 pages of what they experienced. But there's a confidentiality between him and Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam that stays between them, right? And there's something really powerful about that. And of course, the Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam loves all of his companions, but there's layers to these relationships. And there's some people that are just in the most inner layer. And then there are people that are further and further out in their layers, So the same thing in our lives.
That's a very good learning. One regret that you do not want to have at your deathbed.
Living purposelessly. I don't believe in retirement. Death is the retirement. Like, there's plenty of time to sleep under the dirt. Like, if you're alive and you have, this idea that now I'll have enough money that I can just relax and all of that kind of stuff. Like, Allah didn't put human beings on the earth to relax. He put us here to do something with our lives. Every breath, every day is an opportunity Allah has given us to do something, to make something of it. Benefit yourself, benefit somebody else, but be purposeful, be intentful. And that's what I think the most terrifying thing to me is losing that drive, losing that sense of purpose.
Ustad, continuing with this, what most people don't realize is that with every lecture that you give, you put hours and hours of work behind that, which also tells that you are a very, very disciplined person and you manage your time very well. And the young generation has a term called time pass. And
it's not a new term.
Time. Oh, yeah.
I'm very familiar with time pass. I was Mr. Time Pass.
Yeah.
Okay.
So do you have any suggestion for the people so that they use their time wisely?
Okay, so let me be honest first. I don't spend hours and hours on every lecture. So let's get that cleared. Okay, so the Quran Week lectures that I'm doing on a deeper look at a surah at a time, that is an enormous amount of work. That's at least, I'd say, an aggregate of 10 to 15 hours of study per ayah of the Quran, and some longer ayah, even longer than that when you come back. And that's just my work. Then there are other team members that are doing the work. So it's quite a bit. The friends that are here with me in Australia, they discovered this to their own surprise. On the way to the Jumu'ah, I'm like, what am I going to give khutbah about? Oh my God, there's like 10 minutes left. And then I asked like everybody in the car, can you guys be quiet? I got to figure out what I'm talking about in 10 minutes. And then, I don't do that because I'm irresponsible. I do that because I put in my work in the study of the Quran, so that I'm just choosing what to take, what I think is most beneficial in that week, right? So, because it's not like I didn't prepare, it's my whole life has been just prep, right? So I'm not preparing for that particular thing. Yeah. So that's my attitude towards certain talks. But as far as time management is concerned, I'm probably not the best person to give time management advice overall, because I consider myself extremely lazy. Laziness can kick into the afternoon. You could have a little bit of chaos here and there, but so long as your mornings are set, you'll be fine, right? So that's kind of how I operate. But then the other thing is I put myself under high pressure situations. So because then I won't have a choice but to accomplish the task at hand. But it's not like a goal I set for myself and nobody knows about it. I'll announce my goal. So I'll say, okay, Surah Al-Taghabun, Quran week's happening on this day. Now, whether it's 100 hours of study or 300 hours of study, it's going to happen because I already announced the day, right? So what that does then is I can be lazy all I want, but I'm just going to have to get it done. There's no choice in the matter. So I put myself in those high pressure situations to be productive.
Nice.